If you want to avoid suffering, then you want to learn to accept death. You expect me to say that because it's the Death Dhamma podcast, right? But right now, what I'm really talking about is learning to accept the death of old ideas. Hi, it's Margaret Maloney, and welcome to the Death Dhamma podcast. I'm a Buddhist practitioner out here in the world, having experienced the loss of my loved ones and knowing how much my Buddhist practice helped me on my grief journey. And now, together we have this safe space to discuss death, dying, grief, and the Buddhist teachings that help us really understand attachment, impermanence, being compassionate, being death ready, and what it means to live a life so that we can have a peaceful death. Yep, it's a big topic, and we're going to take it on together. Let's go. Have you ever had a vision of the perfect party, a revolutionary product, or a beautifully mapped out life plan, and yet things didn't quite pan out as you had imagined? We all have. That's the joy of being human. You conceive ideas, form beliefs, and develop plans that you think will serve you well. However, sometimes these very things that you cling to become the chains that hold you back. And that means suffering. And you know, this season we're all about talking about suffering and release from suffering and people who help us, and so often, we turn back to talking about how we can help ourselves. This is one of those times. Just as you learn to accept the death of yourself and your loved ones, you must also learn to let go, to acknowledge the death of your outdated ideas, beliefs, and plans. No, I like my beliefs and plans. Think of it as unclenching your mental fists and opening your heart to the unexpected joys and opportunities that life presents when you let go. That whole letting go thing though, hard, right? When you hold on to ideas, beliefs, and plans that no longer serve you, you're like a tree that refuses to shed its old leaves. We're just about getting into that time of year too. Trees are going to start dropping their leaves soon, and in some parts of the country and the world they have. If you don't, though, you become stagnant. Just as the tree's growth is hindered, so is your personal development, and spiritual, of course. The outdated ideas and plans that you're clinging to become anchors, keeping you tethered to a past that no longer exists. By releasing your grip and letting go, you can create space for new ideas, new opportunities, and personal and spiritual growth. When you're holding on to the ideas and plans that no longer serve you, you may find yourself overcome with unnecessary stress and anxiety. Oh, for sure. I can remember, this was so long ago, I had this idea that I was going to graduate with my undergraduate degree with a double major. And it was going to be in accounting and software development. And I loved the software development. Oh my gosh, loved it. But the accounting, turns out just because you're good at math doesn't mean you're good at accounting. And I was terrible and horrible grades, and it was ruining my GPA and ruining my self-esteem and all those things. I was totally having a horrible time with it. And finally, one day, I realized I didn't have to do that. No one but me was expecting me to graduate with a double major. And I went and I dropped the accounting major and just continued on with my software development major and lived happily ever after. Or as much as anyone does in this world, right? So yes. So I was overcome with unnecessary stress and anxiety. I went and dropped that major. Oh, so much better. Imagine trying to control the waves of the ocean. The more you try, the more frustrated you become, and the more the waves seem to grow. Holding on to the past is much like trying to control those waves. By letting go of the waves, not you. By letting go, you let go. There you have it. By you letting go, you can rid yourself of the hundreds of moments of stress and anxiety. But what I really meant to say was you can rid yourself of the burdens of stress and anxiety, promoting a sense of peace and acceptance, like how I felt after I dropped that major. Impermanence is your constant companion. When you let go of the constraints of outdated beliefs and plans, you're helping yourself to become more resilient. The more quickly you can understand that your plans are no longer viable, the more quickly you can accept things as they are and live your life how it is, not resisting or clinging to ideas of how you thought your life should be, not hanging on to some idea that having a double major was going to be so amazing. And I don't know what I thought. I was going to make $1 million when I graduated. I don't know what I was thinking. It's that fighting against the tide that makes you brittle, and that's going to break you. Letting go allows you to break through self-imposed limitations. That was one of my many self-imposed limitations. It encourages self-exploration, leading to new discoveries about your capabilities and preferences. Just like a snake shedding its skin. Not that I like to think of myself as a snake, or any of us do, but, they do shed their skin and grow. That's an apt analogy. You need to shed your outworn beliefs and plans to grow fully. It can be challenging and uncomfortable. Yep. Took me a while to get up that courage to let go and go file that paperwork. I don't know what I thought they were going to say to me. You know what? No one said anything. They took my paperwork and said, next, and helped to the next person in line. That's what happened. But embracing this process of letting go can lead to profound spiritual growth. It allows you to live more authentically, more openly, and more joyfully. Okay, definitely at that time, more joyfully. Was I more spiritual because of this change to a double major? Probably not. I would say at that time in my 20s, I wasn't a particularly spiritual being, other than you can make a case that we're all spiritual beings, but I was certainly not aware of that. But boy, I sure was more joyful, which does open the way for other types of growth, doesn't it? So the ability to let go is part of your journey towards your release from suffering. All of this might be easy to understand. I'm not saying, as usual, I'm not teaching rocket science today, am I? You understand the Four Noble Truths. You've had the experience of suffering. It's in all of your practice, not just when you read a sutta, not just when you sit down to meditate. It's in your day-to-day living. And on those days when you really want to cling to an idea, a belief, or a vision, try these steps instead. Okay, there's 4 steps. First, acknowledge your feelings. Give yourself permission to feel. It's okay to be upset and disappointed, but want to get rid of that second major. It's natural to experience a sense of loss or sadness when we let go of something. Oh, I'm no longer going to be that great person who had 2 majors. I'm not going to be amazing. I'm just going to be me. These feelings are an essential part of the process, and acknowledging them can be a powerful first step towards release. So don't rush to push those feelings away. Instead, sit with them, lean into them, give them the space they deserve. Step 2, take responsibility. The next step is to take responsibility for your own growth and happiness. Yes, things didn't go as you had planned. Your idea or belief didn't turn out the way you thought it would. But you need to remember that you're not a passive observer. I don't have to just stick with it because I said I would or because I think someone's expecting me to. No one asked me to sign up for a double major. No one made me sign up for a double major. I did that. You have the power to shape your path and make choices that align with your newfound insights. Embrace your power and take ownership of your future. I was going to graduate with my software development degree. And I did. And got a great fun job and had lots of good years doing that. Step 3, practice acceptance. Acceptance isn't about resigning yourself to your circumstances. It's about acknowledging the reality of your situation and understanding that impermanence is the rule. You can't control everything, but you can control your responses. By practicing acceptance, you can let go of your attachments to specific outcomes and open yourself up to whatever is next. I had to accept the fact that I was miserable, that I was doing a horrible job with accounting, and I didn't even like it or ever want to use it again. Step 4, welcome new beginnings. Woohoo! Letting go isn't just about endings, it's also about new beginnings. When you let go of outdated beliefs or plans, you're not losing, you're gaining. You're creating space for new ideas, new experiences, and new perspectives. It's an opportunity to redefine yourself and your journey. It's time for reinvention, so take the time to reflect on what you want to invite into your life. What new beginnings are waiting for you? A more happy life, no conflict in hiring. I clearly knew what jobs to apply for. I mean all kinds of new beginnings. If only just the new beginning of not having to keep taking those accounting classes and being miserable. So remember to include yourself in your own loving kindness meditations. Remember that when you wish for all beings to receive compassion and loving kindness, you are one of those beings. And as you strengthen yourself and as you release yourself from suffering, you develop the ability to help others on their journey. And you got here by letting go of the constraints you placed on yourself. When you unclench your mind, you just might open up your heart. You've been listening to the Death Dhamma podcast with your host, Margaret Maloney. Thank you so much for being here. Come find me on margaretmaloney.com, margaretmeloni.com. And until we meet again, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be at ease, and may you be free from suffering. Bye for now.